Want to see more cool videos on our channel? We do, so press this bell and enable to send notifications.
The only thing constant on Mother Earth has always been change. Innovation, ideas, technologies, we see new aspects of it every day. Since the world has been turned into a global village, we get to know about jaw-dropping and fascinating things unleashed right before our eyes. And guess what? We tend to never get enough of it. So, Mind Boggler has heard your call, where we bring you 12 awesome things that you'll see for the first time in your life and definitely be amazed. Let's get started. Number 12. Worm lizard. Lizards are all cringy and creepy, and worms are all wobbly and unlikable. Now, what if I tell you that a creature exists that has the stubby legs and snout of a lizard and the body of a worm? Terrifying, isn't it? Well, I'm going to terrify you even more, because a creature like this actually does exist. A lizard that looks like a worm is literally a reptile found in the woods of Southeast Asia and Mexico, where these creatures don't have ears and they wander off into burrowing and only crawl back into the surface during nighttime. They usually hang around near logs and stones, but the scientists are still yet to fully study this unique creature. Scientists have revealed that they feed on minute insects like termites and ants. Pretty interesting, isn't it? Would you keep this creature as your pet? Let us know in the comments below. Number 11. Ghosts volunteers. This time of quarantine is truly a testing one, where some people have managed to resist the desire of going outside, but there are other people who've not been so responsible. The method of police checks is working to deal with the people, but the citizens of Capo village on the island of Java have ideated something better. A group of local people have volunteered to become fake ghosts by wrapping themselves in white sheets in order to scare people away. These volunteers make sure to keep their activity a secret, so the passerby becomes scared and eventually stays at home. Number 10. Coffins that hang. If your post-quarantine goals involve visiting the mountain village of Sagada in the Philippines, then let me tell you, you should be cautious, because you can actually see coffins nailed to the rock, which would give you a pretty eerie feeling. But this is just an ancient tradition which is still followed by the locals, since it's believed that the mountains are a stairway between earth and heavenly worlds, while others believe that it's easy for the dead souls to see their families from above. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Number 9. Black apples. We've seen juicy red apples and fresh green apples, but have you seen a pitch-dark black apple? Yes, they absolutely exist. Black diamond is an apple which literally grows in only one place on Earth, in Ningxi in Tibet. The apple gains its strange color because of its habitat, where the temperatures in the area during the day and night is very different, and because of the excess exposure of ultraviolet light, the peel of the fruit turns black. These apples are obviously more expensive than the regular ones, since they take up about a whopping 8 years to mature into a full fruit. You gonna add eating a black apple to your bucket list? Let us know in the comments below. Number 8. Smog vacuum cleaner. Technology has eased our lives in tremendous ways, but it has also brought major drawbacks. Air pollution is one of them, where as the years pass on, more and more countries are witnessing a lot of pollution in the atmosphere, which is harming us in various ways. If you look at China, it's estimated that about 4,000 people die from inhaling smog every day. When seen in USA, 4 out of 10 people live in the dreaded polluted regions. So this is definitely a major health hazard. So how do we deal with this? To fight off the notorious air pollution, Dutch designer Daan Roosegaard initiated to combat it through electrostatic vacuum cleaner, which can literally remove the polluted particles from the air. Roosegaard came up with the idea when he witnessed the health hazard taking over in Beijing, China. The 7-meter air purification system is nothing but coils wrapped in copper wire, and it's buried below the ground, and then electric currents of a particular strength and frequency pass through the coils. This mechanism attracts the smoke particles and makes the air above the coils free from pollution. This device in an hour can clean up to 30 cubic meters of air with the help of 1400 watts of green energy. Now this is something that should be installed immensely in every country, don't you think? Number 7. Rainbow whale. Rainbows are all magical and take us back to dreamland, but this whale shooting a jet of rainbow is something truly extraordinary. Just look at the video. Totally surprising, isn't it? This phenomenon was captured on the coast of Newport Beach in California, and turns out that it's not uncommon for this kind of sea creature. So how did a jet of water turn into a rainbow? It's ascertained that the jet released is turned into instant water vapor in the air, and if the sunlight refracts on it in a special way, our eyes see a rainbow effect. So next time you're watching a whale jetting out a splash of water, watch out for the rainbow too. Who knows, you might get lucky and capture this beautiful moment. Number 6. Wine from taps. It's a popular fact that only God holds the power to turn water into wine. But what if one day you woke up and saw wine running out from the taps in your home? This is what happened to the dwellers in Modena province in Italy. However, this incident was not an act of God, but a mistake done by a local winery. The winery had a leak in its storage where the drink began to flow through the pipes of the water supply system. The government quickly solved the issue, but not all citizens were satisfied by the incident since they couldn't find time to fill all their empty bottles. Number 5. Attack by an octopus. You must have seen an octopus at an aquarium and glared at its weird tentacles and be irked by it. But did you know that it's almost impossible to see an octopus in its natural habitat because these species live deep below in the ocean where only experienced divers can dive in deep and witness them? So, seeing an octopus attacking a human is something very uncommon, but you're about to see something similar. At first sight, this view is very disturbing, where you might exclaim, "Why aren't people doing anything to save that person?" But when you take a closer look, it's just a very unique and unusual installation at the Undersea Gardens amusement park in Newport, Oregon. The main purpose of the attraction is to make people witness the rare phenomenon. Weird but interesting, isn't it? Number 4. Plants that live. When we said plants that live, were you reminiscing that time when you saw Harry Potter taking the herbology class and pulling out little mandrakes that can make you pass out with their shrieks? Well, when we said plants that live, we meant something of resemblance and not actual plants. We actually meant garden eels in the sea, which sometimes resemble twigs or coral swinging in the bottom of the ocean. These creatures are so astounding that they've adapted to dwell at the bottom of the sea rather than like normal eels that swim around. These eels bury their body in the lower sand and then move up if they want to hunt. They can move their body 360 degrees in order to catch the plankton for a hearty meal. If the current in the sea is strong, their bodies take the shape of a question mark and stand successfully against a current. This adaptation makes the eels stay in the sea where other fish cannot stay, and if they spot danger, they can hide easily. Number 3. The colour of your heart. Now let me ask you a pretty easy question. What is the colour of your heart? Yes, obviously the answer is red. But this didn't stop doctors from conducting a rather eerie experiment where they decided to drain out all the blood from a heart in order to craft a certain framework that can help doctors further with heart transplants. To their surprise, doctors found that the only thing that was keeping the heart red was blood. With zero amount of blood, the muscle of the heart is pure white in colour. That is, the colour of the connective tissue. But did you know that the pig's heart is also white? Now that's shocking too, isn't it? Now, we don't know the colour of your soul, but the colour of your heart without blood is definitely white. Number 2. Slimy eels everywhere. On July 13, 2017, the residents of a small town of Depot Bay, Oregon, and also nearby people saw an incident that completely made their jaws drop. It was an ordinary day on an ordinary road until an accident took place with a truck packed with slimy eels, also known as hagfishers. These mucky animals were being shipped to South Korea, but the unfortunate accident took place and they splish-splashed all over the place. People who witnessed this incident conveyed that the sight was absolutely disgusting, where the eels were trying to crawl around in revolting goo. But it was more unfortunate to the firemen who had to spend 20,000 litres of water to clear up the road. Poor them, right? Number 1. Not just a leaf. Homo sapiens and flora and fauna daily require each other, where if you closely observe, you can find bits and pieces of similarities in each other. Don't believe it? Well, you'll believe now, because when it comes to veins, not only humans and animals, but leaves also have veins. These veins work profusely to distribute water into the entire plant or tree. This aspect was brought into consideration by the scientists at Worcester Polytechnic Institute of Massachusetts, and you'll never comprehend as to what these mad scientists did next. When it comes to saving a human's life, the doctors sometimes need a healthy living tissue at the heart muscle, where there are basically 2 ways to do it. Either snag it from a donor organ or actually grow it in a lab. But when it comes to donor organs, they're always in slow supply, and when it comes to actually growing arteries and veins, it's a huge and complex process. So how is this problem solved? Scientists and doctors thought, why not take help from Mother Earth, i.e. spinach? Doctors over the years started conducting experiments where they sucked out everything from the leaf except the mighty cellulose fibre. The cellulose is known to be biocompatible, and it's been already used in animal testing, where once the cellulose was implanted into the animals, it swiftly began growing into cells. The same process happened when it came to spinach, where it started to get surrounded by the cells of the human heart, and it literally pumped fluid through the veins. This experiment can actually become a breakthrough when it comes to transplantation science. This literally looks like an episode from Grey's Anatomy. What do you think? Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by clicking the like button. Do share, write a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch up my next video.